Welcome to 5 Cheap Games, Geeks and Gamers. Today I'm here to talk about cheap games that you can buy for cheap, because that's what this is about. This is a series that I used to do a long-ass time ago. When I say a long-ass time ago, I mean when I started Turbo Zone. I did 2 episodes of this. The first episode was in October 3rd, 2015, right after I started the channel. And the second episode was January 18th, 2016, a few months later. And I have not done one since, so I'm bringing it back. Thought I'd try it again, and we'll see how it goes. On today's episode, we're going to be focusing on cheap games for the Xbox. More specifically, in my case, it is the Xbox Series S, because that is the one that I own and the one that I play a lot. So, you know, maybe you're getting an Xbox Series S or X this Christmas, or maybe you have an Xbox One and you want to get some cheap games for your console. Today I'm here to talk about some games, 5 games in particular, that I think should be and could be worth your time. I excluded games that are backwards compatible. Most of those for like 360 and the original Xbox sell for pretty cheap anyway. That one's sort of a given. Maybe later on, if I want to return to this series, I'll do one on Xbox 360 or original Xbox games on the current Xbox platform. But, you know, maybe you just got an Xbox, and maybe, you know, you got it to play Forza, or Starfield, or Alan Wake 2, which you should play, by the way. That game's fucking awesome. And, you know, beyond that, you don't know what to buy. Games are expensive, you know. Just one of those games is like $70. So that there goes all your money if you buy a few of those. So why not look into some cheaper options, some cheaper games that are just as good, that will give you just as much entertainment. You know, and of course there's Game Pass. You can always get Game Pass, but maybe you're the kind of person that isn't into the subscription model and just wants to buy games to own. Well, here are 5 recommendations.
Lindsay Velasquez.
And now for our next challenger, a small dog.
Amazing.
Just kidding, it is another human.
A shame.
First up is Clone Drone in the Danger Zone, which is an amazing name. This one was actually just added to Game Pass, and that's how I'm playing it here. But this game has been around since March 16th of 2017. This is an indie game. I think most of what I'm showing today are indie games. But this one you play as a human whose brain has been put inside of a robot. The robot overlords that rule over humanity now are forcing humans to fight in robot drone bodies in a gladiator-style tournament. So it is sort of a roguelike, sort of a beat-em-up style game. Very, very cool. It has an amazing sense of humor. The narrators go on and on throughout this game about your current fights. In between matches, you know, you have to upgrade your character. You can even buy extra lives if you want to, sacrifice upgrades. And between rounds, the narrators will even tell you which rounds are coming up, kind of give you a little clue on which you need to buy and what you need to equip. I've only played the story mode, which consists of 5 chapters, but there is also an endless mode. There's a co-op mode where you can play with up to 3 friends. There's a challenge mode and a Twitch mode, which actually has something to do with Twitch, some Twitch integration. That's pretty cool. Very fun game. Again, if you have Game Pass, this is already included. I think this is the only Game Pass game that I'm actually including in this episode. But if you don't, the game's only like $20 and it goes on sale quite often. So I would give this one a look if you're into games with a good sense of humor and you like gladiator style games or anything like that. This game is pretty fucking cool.
didn't die.
I was pretty sure it was going to die.
Well, now we get to see it fight more robots.
Maybe later it will die.
Bleed 2 is the sequel to Bleed, a game that I actually played for the Button Mappers podcast a couple years ago and liked a whole lot. Bleed 2 is the sequel, of course, and it is a throwback to run and gun shooters of the 16-bit era, games like Gunstar Heroes, Contra, Metal Slug, those style of games. This game uses more of a twin stick approach, has an interesting control setup, but actually works very well. Bleed 2, I picked this one over Bleed 1 just because I think this is the better of the two games, but the Bleed games are very high energy run and gun shooter games that are a ton of fun. This one came out, looks like in 2018 is when Bleed 2 came out. And oftentimes you can find Bleed 1 and 2 packaged together. It's also got a very humorous plot. It's got very appealing graphics with like the sprite work and a really bitchin' soundtrack. So if you're into high octane run and gun games, I think Bleed 2 is right up your alley. This game by itself will run you about $15, but like I said, it's on sale often, and also it gets bundled with the original Bleed often as well. Next up is the cheapest game on my list today. That is Zwarp. Zwarp is a throwback to the spaceship shooters of old. It is intensely hard, very stylish, and a ton of fun. The game is very short, but has replay value through different difficulties, and is just a blast to play. Zwarp will cost you about $6.99, I believe. Could be wrong on that, but I think that's the price. And it's by East Asia Soft. They have a ton of other cheap spaceship shooters available on the Xbox. So if you are into spaceship shooters and you have an Xbox, East Asia Soft should be on your radar. And Zwarp is one of my favorite titles they've put out. I really, really like this game. Next up's a really special one. Not only because it's a game in a genre that I love, in a style that I love, but also this game was released on my birthday. This game was released August 2nd, 2022, and I bought it and downloaded it on my birthday last year. And it's a game that I've had a ton of fun with. Frogun. Frogun is sort of a throwback to the PlayStation 1 N64 era of platformers. It really does feel like a platformer you would buy or even rent at like a rental store and play a few times. It's got a really cute art style, very pixelated look to it, which gives it that PlayStation 1 feel to me. You play as a girl. She's looking for her adventurer parents, and she has a frog that's also a grappling gun. That's the gimmick of the game. The gameplay reminds me a lot of, I don't even know what to compare it to, a Captain Toad Treasure Tracker mixed with Chameleon Twist. Anybody play that game, Chameleon Twist, for the N64? It's very cool. I think, honestly, of the games I'm showing off today, this is probably my favorite one and the one that I would most recommend. And I believe you can get this game for $15. It is well worth the money, and it is one that you will need the Xbox Series to play, I believe. Actually, no, it says it is on Xbox One, so you Xbox One owners, there you go. It's also available on everything else. I think all the games I'm showing today are available on other platforms, but I played it on Xbox, so it's going in this episode. This game's pretty fucking cool.
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Reynardo plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. "Swear to me that you won't die on the gallows," she rasped. Reluctantly, he swore. And he whiled away his days at home with music, cards, and wine. But the Emperor had changed.
The last game I'm showing today was released in 2016, and that is Stories: The Path of Destinies. It is a top-down action-adventure role-playing game that takes the form of a storybook. You play as Reynardo. He's a hero fighting to take down an evil empire. What's unique about this game is its choice system, where it is written like a storybook between the different chapters. You have a very critical choice to make within the story, and that takes twists and turns, and there are a ton of endings in this game. I'm trying to look up and see how many endings there are. It's not telling me. I know from playing myself that I have not gotten all the endings, but there are a ton of endings. One playthrough of this game won't last you very long. Honestly, I think one playthrough could probably last you a few hours. But with all of the endings, there is a high replay value and more things to see. I really like this game. This game goes on sale often, and I believe it is about $15 if I'm not mistaken. Very, like I said, worth your money if you like games like like the top-down action adventure style, almost like a Zelda type game. This one's more linear than a Zelda game, but it's got RPG mechanics and a pretty good story.
All that had been years ago. How many? The war was a blur, and now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him. "Where are you running, rebel?" cawed the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Reynardo could see them cranking up their catapults. "Just going out for milk," Reynardo yelled back. "Where can you run?" laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job.
Take us to the rebel base! I will spare your life!
It cawed. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven. A sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time. Unless Reynardo could bring a game-changer. Maybe he could. Reynardo had found out where he could find the pieces of the Sky Ripper. The legendary weapon that had exiled the lost gods. Surely a legendary weapon could win the final battle. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino had sent Reynardo a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Reynardo could only rescue him. Reynardo dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Lapino or the Sky Ripper.
And there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed my picks that I picked for this episode of 5 Cheap Games. And let me know if you try any of these games out. I could have gotten some of the prices wrong. I didn't write down the prices. I should have, but I definitely checked them last night. And I'm going off memory. Damn it! I wonder how many of them I got correct. Let me know in the comments if I got any of them correct. But all these games go on sale a lot too. So if you ever see these games on sale, they're great games to pick up. And like I said, they're available on more platforms than just the Xbox. So give them a try on PlayStation, Steam, Switch, whatever they're on. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see another episode of 5 Cheap Games. And I'm going to go play more Clone Drone in the Danger Zone. Because I'm Turbo Zone. Danger Zone, Turbo Zone. It should be Clone Drone in the Turbo Zone, right? Bye, everybody.
For our next challenge, we have a special guest.
Who is it?
You're about to find out. Look to the sky. The Emperor arrives. Fellow robots, we have captured the few humans bold enough to venture into our space. But it is not enough. Billions of their minds remain, waiting to be harvested. Soon our fleet will arrive at the closest human outpost. While we wait, let us watch our latest combat robot in action.